Hungary faced a large increase in migration in 2015. Many people traveled through Hungary to reach other European countries. Viktor Orban, Hungary's prime minister, promised a different approach. His government introduced new policies to reduce illegal immigration. These policies sparked debate within Hungary and across Europe. Orban argued that Hungary, a small country, could not cope with mass migration. His government wanted to regain control of its borders and decide who could enter Hungary. This led to several controversial measures, including building a fence and changing asylum rules. These policies drastically reduced the number of people entering Hungary illegally. However, they also drew criticism from human rights groups and other European countries. Hungary's approach to immigration under Orban became a focal point in the European debate about migration. One of the most visible signs of Hungary's new approach was the construction of a fence along its southern border. This 175-kilometer barrier, built in 2015, stretches along the border Hungary shares with Serbia and Croatia. The fence, made of razor wire and patrolled by border guards, aims to deter illegal crossings. Supporters praised it as an effective measure to regain control of the border. Opponents criticized it as inhumane and divisive, arguing that it created a climate of fear and hostility towards migrants. The fence forced many people to seek alternative routes, often more dangerous, to reach their desired destinations. The fence also sparked debate about the right of countries to protect their borders and the responsibilities of nations towards asylum seekers. The construction of the fence, coupled with stricter border controls, had a significant impact on illegal immigration rates. The number of people apprehended trying to cross the border illegally dropped dramatically. The Hungarian government cited these figures as evidence of the policy's effectiveness. Before the fence's construction, Hungary was a major transit country for migrants traveling through the Balkans to Western Europe. The fence, along with stricter border controls, effectively closed this route. However, the decrease in illegal crossings did not mean that migration to Europe had stopped. Critics argued that while Hungary might have reduced crossings on its borders, it had simply shifted the problem elsewhere, potentially putting people at greater risk. Some argue that it offered Hungary valuable breathing space to develop a more sustainable migration policy. The fence remains a potent symbol of the ongoing debate about migration in Europe. Another key aspect of Hungary's approach to immigration involved the creation of transit zones on its border. These zones, located at official border crossings, served as processing centers for asylum applications. People seeking asylum in Hungary had to submit their applications within these zones. The Hungarian government argued that the transit zones were necessary to ensure a controlled and orderly asylum process. However, the conditions within the transit zones drew strong criticism from human rights groups. These groups argued that the zones resembled detention centers with limited freedom of movement and inadequate living conditions. The European Court of Justice ruled in 2020 that Hungary's practice of keeping asylum seekers in transit zones was unlawful. This ruling forced Hungary to close the transit zones and revise its asylum procedures. The debate over the transit zones highlighted the tension between a country's right to control its borders and its obligations under international law to protect asylum seekers. Hungary's approach to immigration, particularly the fence and transit zones, sparked diverse reactions. Within Hungary, the government's actions received mixed responses. Supporters praised Orban's government for protecting the country's borders and culture. However, the policies also faced criticism within Hungary. Human rights groups condemned the fence and treatment of asylum seekers. Internationally, Hungary's actions drew sharp criticism from the EU and other countries. Hungary's approach to immigration under Prime Minister Viktor Orban highlights the complex challenges in balancing security with humanitarian obligations. The construction of the fence and transit zones reduced illegal immigration and gave Hungary greater border control. However, these measures drew criticism for their impact on asylum seekers and potential violations of international law. The use of razor wire fences and restrictive conditions raised concerns about humane treatment. The debate sparked a broader discussion about border protection and responsibilities towards those fleeing persecution.